Welcome to Real Issue Podcast. I'm your host, Martel Llewellyn. Guys, if you are a Miami Heat fan, continue to like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for all the support. If you're an NBA fan, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for all the support. So, an Eastern Conference coach doesn't think Erik Spoelstra will use Victor Oladipo, even with the Tyler Hero injury. He also said, "I don't think so." One Eastern Conference coach answered when asked if Spoelstra will put Oladipo back in the rotation. Erik Spoelstra can be stubborn in a good way, I think. He sticks to principles and it sets an example for everyone else. But you get into the playoffs and you got to find ways to keep winning. This is on the front office for not doing anything to get Spo more depth, for coming into this year thinking they can catch lightning in a bottle and Vic to play great. That did not happen, and it really is not much of a game plan to say, hey, let's hope we get lucky with this guy. We all thought that Victor Oladipo would bring great value to this team, but unfortunately, he's had many injuries and many setbacks while he's been in Miami. We brought him here because we thought he was going to be very athletic for us, which we desperately need. The talent aspect, which he definitely checks that box off. Everyone knows his career. We all knew that he was very, very versatile, a great defender, great in transition. He's a slasher, he's a cutter, two-way player. Those were the things that Miami wanted when we brought Victor Oladipo here. Now, once again, due to injuries and him falling out of the rotation, it hasn't really panned out that way. I will say Erik Spoelstra can be stubborn, but then at the same time, it's not his fault. He really doesn't have much to work with. But I will say, in terms of Victor Oladipo, Erik Spoelstra's giving him plenty of shots. He goes out there and then he shoots ill-advised threes and he's turning the ball over at a crazy rate. In the playoffs, we cannot afford that. That's why I said that Victor Oladipo needs to make his defense turn into offense, stripping the ball. You know what I mean? Uh, Cutting to the rim, getting steals, doing things on the defensive end to try and help this Miami Heat team win. It's not always about who's scoring and who's putting the ball in the bucket, but who's doing the extra things, who's going the extra mile, who's doing the things that are not on the stat sheet. That's what PJ Tucker did. If Victor Oladipo can come in and play great defense and impact winning on the defensive end, Erik Spoelstra will have no choice but to play him. But then this coach, he's also right as well. The Miami Heat don't really have that much talent. They were banking on Victor Oladipo, in my opinion, too hard because think about it. This guy has a really bad injury history, and they did not give Coach Spo the talent or enough talent to at least push past some of these hurdles that the Miami Heat have faced this season. We've all said it 1,000 times. This Miami Heat team, they lack talent, and they lack guys that can create their own shot. A lot of these guys on this team are very one-dimensional. And in my opinion, I know that they don't want to go over the luxury tax, and there's just so many aspects that are going on with this front office. But I think, of course, we all know that this Miami Heat team lacks talent, and they should have given Spo more talent. We've all seen what Spo can do when there's talented players around him and that he's coaching. But we've also seen Coach Spo, talent these guys up to an insane level to where they're actually playing better than they ever thought they would. And that's because we have a great coach in Spo. But once again, in terms of Victor Oladipo, I think he definitely has to, make a huge impact on the defensive end and get back to the things that make him great, cutting, slashing, and him being athletic and great in transition. I think that in terms of Spo being stubborn, I think that Duncan Robinson should have gotten more minutes throughout this season only because he's getting paid $18 million. I understand that he's a defensive liability. But in my opinion, you got to play him at least minimum 15 to 20 minutes a night to try and get him going. This is the NBA. The only way that he's going to get rhythm is in-game rhythm, in-game shooting to that pace. We can practice and practice and practice, but the in-game rhythm is everything, in my opinion. So in terms of him being stubborn, he is stubborn at some points because sometimes we're getting killed on the boards and we're like, well, why is Cody Zeller or Kevin Love not in the game right now? We all know that each player has their deficiencies, but in terms of rebounding and size, you would say, hey, why aren't these guys in the game? So sometimes he is stubborn. Sometimes he is very, very strict on his lineups and his rotation. And sometimes it seems like it doesn't really make sense. But then at the same time, sometimes he does get it right. But let me know what you guys think about what this Eastern Conference coach said about Erik Spoelstra being stubborn. Do you guys think that he should play Victor Oladipo? Do you guys think that he should play Duncan Robinson or anyone else that's on the Miami Heat bench? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, comment, subscribe as we continue to push to 2,000 subscribers.